Hi, welcome back to Legal Quilts. Today we're going to see how I use my Cricut to help me cut my pieces for my blocks. I really like using my Cricut because it lets me do precision cutting easily on the more unusually shaped pieces, and I can also do a lot of them at once. It's better than an AccuQuilt because I don't have to go buy the templates every time I want to do a new shape. I can just design it right here in Cricut. It does have to be with the Cricut Maker because that's the one that comes with the rotary cutter. It's a pretty simple machine, how it does it, but it makes it really easy to do, especially if you have to do a lot of pieces because you can do a lot of them at once, whereas with the AccuQuilt you're limited to how many you can do at once. This you can do as many as you can fit on a 12 by 12 or even a 12 by 24 inch piece of fabric. So it does it pretty efficiently, and I'll show you later how it even lays it out, the pieces, to use up the fabric most efficiently. Again, it's the precision piecing for the more unusual shapes. I don't use it to use strips and squares usually, because those you can just do with a ruler. So what you do is, to get started, is you go to New, and I do have some projects in here, but there's also ways you can draw your own pieces. I'm not that good. You can upload images. There is a way you can take Electric Quilt, that software, those blocks from there, and transfer them to your Cricut. I know how to do it. I'm not going to explain it. There's better videos out there that explain it. But today we're just going to do a new one using my favorite, hexagons. And the good thing about this is, let me move it here, you can resize them, and I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, 1.5 for the width. As you can see, I know that looks awfully small, but it's just something to do. And up here you see where it has the size, and you see that little lock? That'll keep your proportions, and that makes your life so much easier because then you don't have to make sure each side is, you just set your size and you're done. You can change the colors, and I'm going to recommend. And we're going to do a grandmother's flower garden today. So we're going to make the center yellow. So we got a nice little yellow. And then you want to do everything around it. So you duplicate that. But because your next row is going to be a different color, you can just change the color. And we're going to do this pretty light blue. And then you can keep duplicating those all around. And you don't have to get them precisely added on there as the way your block would look. You could technically do this just as a line straight across for everything you wanted. And I'll show you where I did that in a minute. But if you want to lay out what your block would look like and how your colors are somewhat, you can do it this way. I really recommend EQ8, as we call it, for something more of a layout to get your colors right. And then we're going to do the third one here. Let's do that purple, a little pretty purple here, and you just keep laying it out. Now the good part is, once you've got all the pieces you need for your block done, and again, it doesn't have to be precisely laid out. You don't have to get it exactly in. You can even be hanging out here, and I'm going to leave that hanging out here for a second so you'll see why. But you just get all these pieces in. And I'm not going to do them all, but you go around and you see you've got the three colors. Then you go up to your right hand corner and you go and you click on Make It. And it sorts the mats by color, which is why you wanted to do them in different colors, so that you make sure you get all your pieces in the different colors. There's the yellow right there, and you can see that'll cut my one for the centerpiece. And then it lays out the next color, and you notice it took the pieces and laid it all straight across. So for this, I could take a 2-inch strip that I already have cut and just lay it out. I usually go all the way to the edge when I'm laying them out on the mat. So you've got the 10 inches, and it'll cut that. And then this one, it doesn't show all of them, but if you have too much that goes on, it'll just move it to the next row, and you're all set. and then you just put it through and it cuts. This is a really great way, like I said, to do these pieces like your hexagons. I love doing hexagons. You've got all kinds of shapes already in here. You've got diamonds, you've got the heart. I'll show you what I did with that in a second. If you wanted to applique stars, you could do your stars. You've got the triangles, if you could make sure they were 60 degrees. So this really makes it a lot easier. Now I'm going to show you some of the projects I've already done in my projects. Like I said, if you can use as big of a piece as you want. This is really only a 10-inch mat, or the 12 by 12 mat, I'm sorry. It's going to say this a lot here. But this is if I want to do a lot of hexagons. And notice they're all the same color. So if I want to do a lot of hexagons of the same color, I just use this setup. I saved all my projects. That's the thing. You can save your project so you can come back and cut before. This is how I cut all my pieces for my hexy butterflies. I have that butterfly saved here, and I just can go in and lay it out and cut it, and it makes life a lot easier. See, here's one where I actually did use the squares. But that's because they were part of the block. I haven't made this one yet, but it's called Octagon Tile, and you need the different size squares. Although they're going to be the same color, it'll still, you can cut them all from the same piece of fabric when you cut them. And then I'm going to show you what I did with the heart. Just a second. Oh, let me show you my Dresdens though. This is one I sent to my niece because she's actually better at doing these things than I am, and I couldn't quite get my wedges to work the way I wanted to. As you know, my Dresdens, I use the straight across. I don't do the curve. I don't do the petal shape where you fold them in, just flat Dresdens. Now, these are all 4 straight across. I found you can't really lay out the Dresden in the circle shape because once you start doing that, you lose this part up here with the sizing and and so your sizing gets off, so you don't want that. But that's the Dresdens. You can use it for Dresden fans too, and I guess you could lay them out then on the right shape. Let me see. No, because once you start moving them and trying to put them up against each other, you start losing it up here, and it just doesn't work. The heart, like I said, you can use this for applique. If you saw my video about Legal Quilt Stands with Ukraine, this is where I got the heart applique from. I just took the heart shape, made it the size I wanted, and then I can cut it out very precisely using the Cricut Maker, and it made it a lot nicer to then just applique. So if you have anything you want to applique, any unusual shapes, it's a lot easier than trying to cut them with your rotary cutter yourself. Plus, like I said, it goes faster. You saw the multi-hexy one, that's 24 hexagons at once on one sheet, and it really does lay them out efficiently with very little wasted fabric. So this is how I use my Cricut. This is what I do with it. I'm going to have affiliate links for the Cricut in the notes for this episode. I do get commissions if you buy anything through Cricut, but I really do like using it, and it has made it a lot easier to do these quilting projects where I need a lot of something cut that is more than a square or a stripe. So I hope you enjoyed learning about this. I'd love to see what you use your Cricut for in quilting. So please post comments in the comments, please subscribe. Subscribers are so important here on YouTube. So please, please, please subscribe so you get to hear about all our new content. And don't forget, everything's on the website, which is at the Legal Quilts online website. I'll put those links also in the comments. And until next time, thank you.